Hello there. All right. So there's Kaithi and then there's Vikram. Two amazingly excellent movies that I absolutely loved. But you know what? Let's break them down and see which one was better. Oh, spoilers, by the way. So let's start with Kaithi. Let's start with the first 5 minutes. Kaithi establishes that a drug bust has happened. Kaithi establishes that the drug lords are upset and furious about it, and one of the brothers is missing. Brother, the lead, is actually missing somewhere. Let's look at Vikram's version. They start off with finding a hangar filled with weapons, drugs, and then 3 minutes of this. So you see the difference here. But you know what? Let's be generous and just include the overarching story for when the movie finally takes off. What was established in those moments? What makes one seem more enthralling, and what makes the other one feel a little lackluster? So in Kaithi, the start, we learned that their drug peddlers had their merchandise taken and they want it back. We learned that there's a politician willing to sell all the information for 20 kilos of it. And we learned that the drug guys don't care as long as, well, it gets his brother back and he kills the officers who robbed him. We learn all that in the first few minutes. Vikram establishes that there's this detective who really needs to solve this case and figure it out. We get the tension, we get the joy, we get the feeling of following someone along in their case, which is why it worked so well for Vikram. The difference between the emotional scene between Dilly and the truck driver and the emotional scene between Bijoy and Amar are two completely different scenes. Because with Dilly, we can feel what the truck driver is feeling, because having a character that you can sympathetically identify with helps the audience be able to be taken into that moment. When it's Bijoy and Amar, we don't... Amar is more of a machine. He's more of a worker type. He's an elite at what he does. He's a detective. He's hard to identify with unless you fall in that small category. And the fact that he's standoffish to what Bijoy has to tell him. Most people wear their heart on their sleeves. Most people know where their emotions are truly at, but he didn't portray that at all. So it was harder to really get the same emotional impact in Vikram that we got in Kaithi. Just like with the emotional impact in Kaithi between the college students and Amar losing his wife. As tragic and as drastic as Amar losing his wife was, there is something about being in that line of work and us as an audience knowing that that's going to lead to a lot of strife and a lot of problems. We kind of know something like this is going to happen. So in the back of our minds, and he kind of set it up. It's still tragic, but it was not as tragic as the college students. In Kaithi, those college students, she slapped him because she cared for him. That's the first time we get their interaction together. It was amazingly powerful because you could tell in that moment that she did it because she cares. She was hurt by the fact that he did something so dumb and she's correcting him. And the fact that they cared for each other. They established it like right before he was taken out. They basically confessed their love for one another. That was emotionally, even talking about it right now, gets me on the inside. So the emotional impact that Kaithi had was far stronger, mainly because of the identifiable characters. Action heroes are amazing. Vikram was on top with all of that because of its action. But with its relatable characters and its emotional impact, it was lacking because they were all elites. In Kaithi, the screen presence of Dilly felt measured. It felt like he was there to be there, and they weren't flushing out the scenes too much just to have him on set. However, in Vikram, and you can get this from the first few minutes with the dance, they were pushing that because they had an elite actor. And it's great to have an elite actor, but the problem is that when you push too many scenes with them, and there's so many stories going on, it feels like other characters got lost in the work. Because Bijoy feels in this film that he had a huge arc that could have been grabbed onto. But just like in Kaithi, it's an afterthought. And I like that, but the problem was Vikram alone wasn't a strong enough character because, again, he's an elite. Dilly, Bijoy, the truck driver, Napoleon, and Kaithi all had some kind of emotional ground. Bejoy wanted to save all his officers. He wanted to make sure that the drugs weren't found to save people's innocent life. Dilly wanted to get to his daughter. But when he finds out what's going on, he wants to make sure she doesn't live in that reality. The truck driver wants to keep his truck safe, doesn't want it destroyed, and then starts relating with Dilly, feeling sorry for Dilly, wanting him to run away from all this. Napoleon was just there to start his job for the first time, just to be a constable. And then immediately he has to wear the hat because everyone else ran away on him. The students who were there because they were either jailed or came to go visit them and get them out ended up having to hold the line. In Vikram, everybody is an agent. Everybody is a specialist in their field, which is why it's not as relatable. Even though it's an amazing action movie, just like when Tina transformed on the spot and became this epic action star, it was just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But now I can't relate to her. I mean, that's the issue. When you have something like that, it's hard when you have a star-studded cast and everyone needs to be amazing. You need to have a sympathetic anchor. And they tried that with Bejoy, but the problem was you can't have him talking to another professional in his field who is also unrelatable for us, especially when they're on different sides. With Dilly and the truck driver, they were on the same side at that point. They were both roped in to do something they didn't want to do, but they realized it was for a better cause, which is why it worked. I mean, there were things in both movies that I didn't like. In Kaithi, there was the truck being rolled down for some reason off the mountain. I mean, this is a rickety truck that makes sounds just when you step into it. So the fact that they rolled it off a cliff basically made no sense to me. Even now, it makes no sense. I mean, the argument that they thought it would be quieter, you guys have been driving that. You guys know it's not going to be quiet. And then also the whole cart being rolled down the hill when it's on fire. What happens if it stopped? Those are wooden wheels. It's on fire. It could have fallen apart before it even got into the middle of the road. So the fact that why not just light it in the middle of the road? Those are two things that just like, what? Why? But it was fine. It was accepting. The movie was amazing. They had relatable characters. In Vikram, it was the dance sequence at the very beginning. Again, that just threw me out. Everything else, absolutely phenomenal. The action was phenomenal. The characters, not relatable, but it was still a great film. And I know they say that you need to see the dance. I mean, they referenced it once in the film when they're doing the investigation. They referenced the dance once where he's testing the drugs or tasting or finding out what it is. That's it. That's the only time they do it. After that, there's no reference. So they didn't need it in the first place. They had an amazing job with him driving drunk and crashing. That worked perfectly for me. That worked absolutely phenomenally. If you remove the first section, I know it's fan baiting. I know it's there for a reason. It's the nostalgia. It's the clickbait type of thing. Everyone's happy to see it, but it didn't work for me. Again, let's talk about the window. Kaithi, again, has just a short window to do everything. He's basically imprisoned at the beginning. He has to get to his daughter at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they have to get to the hospital, get everyone to the hospital. So he has to get from point A to point B to get to the hospital, or to get to his daughter. He needs to get to his daughter. That time limit really does up the stakes. In Vikram, they had a time limit, but it was the time limit for the first story to end. So that was the main issue with Vikram, is that there's two films there. There's the detective mystery, where we follow Amar trying to solve the case. And after the 7-day period where he solves the case, we then follow Vikram through his story. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having more than one film. But the issue is that as soon as we had that completed arc, I kind of didn't check out completely because I was still interested in what was going on. But I felt like we had a cathartic moment. Everything was basically done at that point. And then the next movie started, which was the revenge film. Not really revenge, but still a revenge film, an action film. So in Kaithi, it was literally the whole film was the last act of one movie, was the last act. Because I'm still curious to see how the Bejoy discovered the drugs. And then the second act would be them taking them. The third act is the people getting it back. And that's what made it so much quicker, so much faster paced. In Vikram, as soon as the first film ends, it slows down, and because you have to get into the whole new story, the whole new narrative, the whole sequence again. It's still a great movie, but there's two films there. I mean, that's the thing. They're both amazing movies. They both have good things. They both have bad things. But which one did it worse? Which one did it better? I'm more veered towards Kaithi, mainly because my guy, my boy Napoleon, he is the heart and soul of that. The problem with Vikram is there is no character there that I can emotionally anchor myself to feel like I'm involved with. Because there is, like, honestly, it would have been his son. It would have been his son, but his son's not there. His daughter-in-law seems like this snobbish person that doesn't like her grandfather because he established himself, or her father-in-law, because he established himself as a drunkard. He established himself as this terrible person. And then you have this nanny who transforms into an agent. You had the gym owner who transforms into this agent. You had his driver who transforms into this agent. You have Amar, who is an agent. You have Bajoy, who has this history, but he's an agent. You have all these characters, but they're all agents. Do you see what I'm getting at? Or they're just not relatable in some way. We needed one anchoring character who was just thrown into the mix. Yes, it is dumb. Yes, it is cliche, but it would be funny to basically be that one person who's there. Why am I here? Why am I here? The Napoleons, the truck driver, I'm sorry that I feel bad that I don't know his name. The truck driver, the students. It's just all of that works so well in a story because you can feel the tension build. You can feel their strain because I'm that student. I'm Napoleon. I'm the truck driver. Like, heck, I could even be Dilly. Joseph Campbell, a hero of a thousand faces. That whole story arc where you are taken, there's the call to adventure, and they all accepted the call. In the next one, in Vikram, they are all already on the call to adventure. Vikram's already out for revenge. Amar is basically the only one who's given the call to adventure to seek out this detective, but that's his job. So there's no real push to do it. And there was no one relatable in Vikram to make, well, anyone feel anything towards anything that was really going on. I mean, his son died. Yes. Bajoy's family died. Yes. Amar's wife died. Yes, but I still wish there was a character there that was relatable. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Vikram and Kaithi. Let me know what you think. But yeah, let me know what you think. Which one was your favorite? Why was it your favorite? I'd like to know. You now know why Kaithi is my favorite of these two. All right, and one more thing. If you want to give me recommendations, things like that, I have a Discord link down in the description below. That will actually be probably the best way to do it because I'm trying to do more of this kind of content. More original content, more fun, interactive comment. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on it. I don't want to just watch a movie and then say my piece and be done with it. I want to compare. I want to contrast. I want to get you guys involved. Tell me I'm crazy, or tell me just like some of that makes sense, but you're wrong on point A, B, D, C. Yeah, I'm jumping around on points. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. I look forward to bringing more to you soon. Toodles.